And Johnny Warren has a deep connection to Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Today marks 17 years since his passing. Craig Fisher, our referee. And the team news information that you need to be aware of is Mount Druitt, a man to look out for, Tarek Elrich, of course a veteran of 288 A-League appearances across many clubs, alongside the pocket rocket Lukman Ahmed Shaibu. Keep a lookout for him as well. He'll be coming off the bench. While for Wollongong, Lachlan Scott, former A-League man, he's their leading scorer in the NPL, just gone. And Josh McDonald, another former A-League man who spent some time with the Mariners and Western Sydney Wanderers, and also over in Europe with Nottingham Forest. Ben Homer with you for the call, alongside former A-League coach Phil Moss. And Phil, an absolute pleasure to be here in person at a ground for the first time in a long time.
It certainly is, Ben. Absolute pleasure to be here, and some good atmosphere here. There's a good little crowd in. It's a nice and tight and tidy little suburban stadium, Popondetta Park. I haven't been here for years and years, but not a lot's changed. They've upgraded a few things, but nonetheless a great atmosphere tonight. 137 days since these two teams met each other, Ben, and I know from speaking to both coaches during the week, they are absolutely pumped for this game.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Both of them had a win against each other during the year, 3-0 each way. Who gets the chocolates tonight, though? So we're underway at Popondetta Park. Both Mount Druitt and Wollongong have been at this stage before, but they've never been passed. So who will earn a slice of history? The next 90 minutes will go a long way to answering that question, and immediately Mount Druitt looking for that early opener. They played Manly United here a couple of years back and went down on penalties. So Phil Moss, I'm sure they'll be keen to erase those disappointing memories.
No doubt, and you can see them trying to turn Wollongong around nice and early. They've got a big boy up front, Mitchell Smith, Mount Druitt, and he's very good with his back to play, but he also looks to get in behind early and just put some doubt in the minds of those Wollongong defenders.
Yeah, a couple of goals for him in the NPL New South Wales men's season. Another turnover and slip forward by Rhett De Silva, who's a number 5 in the midfield for Mount Druitt. Keep a lookout for him, the younger brother of Danny De Silva, who'll be with MacArthur this year. Jordovic now looking long and forward for Lockie Scott, the captain of Wollongong. His coach Luke Wiltshire has big raps on him.
Yeah, huge raps on Lockie Scott, Ben. I was talking to Lukey Wiltshire during the week, and he compared him not at the level, but certainly in the style of player that he is to the great Mark Viduka. Coming from Luke Wiltshire, you don't take that sort of feedback lightly.
Yeah, that's certainly a rap and a half. So I was mentioning the two meetings between these two sides in 2021, back in round 3 in the NPL New South Wales, a 3-0 win for Wollongong. That one at Albert Butler Memorial Park down in the Gong. Lockie Scott grabbed a goal on that occasion, and then back in round 14, that last meeting you were talking about, Phil, 3-0 to Mount Druitt here. And it's going to be an early free kick for the Wolves. Good position here for them.
Yeah, some really good play there from Peter Simonoski. Just the way he received that ball with his almost with his back to goal, but then on the half turn at the last split second, and just to see the defender
14,
there.
That last
really
meeting you were talking about, Phil. 3-0 to Mount Druitt here. So Josh McDonald standing over the set piece. 4 matches for him in the A-League. A couple for the Mariners and a couple for Wanderers. Yeah, be looking for a tall target in the box, potentially the likes of Lachlan Scott. He chips this one towards the near post. And well cleared away there by Jason Perez in the middle of the box. Got an important toe to it. It's a corner on the way, though.
That was very, very good defending there from Jason Perez. Very smart. He was facing his own goal. You don't know what's behind you. He had to get a toe in, and he did.
So McDonald on set-piece duties. Not his best effort, and again it's Perez with the clearance away. And you can see speeding towards it, the number 7 for Mount Druitt. He's another one to keep a watch on, the leading goal scorer for the Town Rangers in the NPL New South Wales. 9 goals in the season just gone. And his coach, Stuart Montgomery, says he's a great dribbler and a goal scorer. Another free kick going the Wolves' way. Taken quickly. And given away. Now a chance for Mount Druitt to get in behind with the space of Stewart. And now he slips in Mitch Smith, but the flag is up for offside.
There's a little glimpse of Jack Stewart running with the ball, isn't there, Ben? Nice pace about him with the ball at his feet. Some players look quicker when the ball's at their feet than without. He looks to be one of those players early on, and unfortunately for him, Mitchell Smith just mistimed his run.
Yeah, bright shoes, and I should say bright boots, and they match his pace. Sense he's going to add some electricity tonight at Popondetta Park. McDonald. That's an important tackle. Stays down. Does Simonoski. No whistle from the referee, Craig Fisher. Just putting themselves under a bit of pressure. Mount Druitt as Symes knocks it away to Kamada. Here is Kamada, the man from Japan. Now finds Stewart. Just couldn't quite reel it in against the sideline.
Some very good feet shown there by Kamada. He looks to be a very bright prospect on this left-hand side of the Mount Druitt Town defensive line. Surface a little bit bobbly, Ben. It's both teams finding it hard to get the ball under control at the moment, hence the number of turnovers, particularly in those tight areas.
It's a bit of a tough part of the year for NPL clubs because normally they're trying to regenerate the pitches. Just trying to keep it in good shape over the COVID period and then into this FFA Cup tie. And both clubs are doing a lot of Zoom sessions and then sort of 3 to 4 nights a week in the build-up to this one with some trial matches. Wollongong took on Sydney FC. And Mount Druitt had a clash with Olympic and also Blacktown. Some good hit-outs in the lead-up, but there's nothing like playing a competitive match. So sure they'll be feeling it tomorrow, both of these two sides. That's
right, and building rhythm. I don't envy the coaches during this COVID period to build that rhythm and momentum through training sessions, and then get a run of those friendly games to get the match fitness to where it needs to be for a game like this.
Just drops over the top nicely for Belcardi, who makes a beeline for the box. Good, strong shoulder-to-shoulder contact there from Kamada. It's going to be a corner kick, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
That looks like it's shaping to be a wonderful battle. Just in front of us in the commentary position, Ben, between those two.
He got a long way forward, didn't he? The right fullback, Belcardi. He's got a license to attack. He actually came out of the Central Coast Mariners setup, highly regarded by their coach, Nick Montgomery. McDonald bending and blocked. Looked dangerous from Kanaizumi, his strike on goal.
What a great early chance for Wollongong. Fantastic delivery from the corner there. And as you said, Kanaizumi with a strike on goal. Too many Mount Druitt legs in the way though.
Yeah, Kanaizumi just recently joined Wollongong from Rockdale. He was playing for them the past NPL season, one of the best centre-backs in the NPL New South Wales. Josh McDonald sliding it wide. Neat touch from Simonoski. Scott returns it to McDonald. And Brendan Griffin sitting in that holding midfield role, just conducting things there.
That's good pressing from Mount Druitt there. Very well organised. Defensively, you can see Stuart Montgomery has got them well organised. He's gone to a 4-3-3 this season, he was telling me during the week. That's a change from the 5-3-2 he adopted, the system that he adopted last season. He didn't feel that they had enough goals in them last season. In transition to attack, he couldn't get bodies forward quick enough. So he's adopted that 4-3-3, and you can see pressing, they're very well organised early on.
So another chance for Wollongong from the set piece. This time wide on the left. Got the likes of Djordjevic and Kanaizumi as well. Targets in the box. And that is Kanaizumi rising for the header. Pretty comfortable in the end for Matt Symes in goals. But that's the kind of problems that they're going to have to come up against. Here's a yellow card for getting in the way, preventing the goalkeeper. Releasing the goal kick, and probably a silly yellow card, especially in an FFA Cup tie where things can get tense late. So into the book goes Marcus Beattie. Just over 10 minutes gone, round of 32 in the FFA Cup, live from Popondetta Park. Great to have your company on 10 Play. Ben Homer and Phil Moss with you in commentary for this one. The Mount Druitt Town Rangers taking on Wollongong Wolves. Both have been to the round of 32 once each, never to the round of 16. In these opening 10 minutes, you'd probably say Wollongong with the better of the chances. Mount Druitt also playing on the counter-attack up to this point.
Yeah, certainly Wollongong have had the better chances from set pieces. They've had a couple of corners, a couple of free kicks just outside the box, but Mount Druitt Town have probably had the better of the possession in the opposition half in these early exchanges. They just need to slow that final pass down. They've got some creative players in Simonoski, I beg your pardon, in Perez and De Silva, of course. If they can just slow that final pass down, they could find some joy.
Lachlan Scott beating it out wide to McDonald. Just cutting in off his left. Finally got to Simonoski. Links with Scott, went for the first time strike.
That's some excellent link-up play there. Lachlan Scott just couldn't quite get hold of his shot. It's a difficult angle to come onto the ball from, but he timed his run very well.
Well, he again found space, Lachlan Scott. And if the pass found him, there would have been some problems for the Town Rangers defence. He just eased himself between defenders. Meanwhile, Jack Stewart and Belcardi concedes the free kick.
Yeah, no option for referee Craig Fisher then, but to award a free kick to Mount Druitt Town in a very good area actually. But you can see Jack Stewart, he's always looking to get in behind, use his pace. And that was an excellent release from midfield. And every time a midfielder gets on the ball facing forward, you can see Jack Stewart just wants to get in behind.
Cooper Koskari standing over the set piece, the 23-year-old. It's a decent delivery. get it away for the moment, Wollongong. But here comes the pressure again to the back post and swept clear, so it'll be a corner on the way. This is promising stuff from the Town Rangers.
Yeah, that's good pressure from Mount Druitt there. Brendan Griffin had to be on his toes on the back post. Keeper Hayden Duros was beaten by the flight of the ball. Another opportunity for Mount Druitt.
This is a deep delivery. And the pressure valve immediately released. Now Wollongong looking to find some space with
Offside.
Marcus Beattie down the left, but the flag's up. Yeah, their only trip to the round of 32. Back in 2016, the Wolves, when they went down 3-0 to Sydney FC at Wynn Stadium. And as I mentioned earlier, Mount Druitt, that 4-2 penalty shootout loss after a 2-2 draw with Manly United. That's a neat turn and cut back. Here's the strike on goal, just wide from Jared Macarola, who's not going to be at Mount Druitt much longer.
Some big raps on Macarola, isn't there? Just turned 18. He's been in the NPL 1 squad for a couple of years already. And headed for Portugal, I believe, after his HSC exams have finished in the next few weeks.
It's not bad, is it? 17 years of age, 2 years in the NPL men's competition, the first grade, now off to Portugal. So good on him, and we wish him all the best of luck. Hopefully he can have some happy memories as he gets a touch there. A little heavy over the top.
Great having a conversation with Stuart Montgomery about him during the week. He said, hopefully this is the last time we see him for about 10 or 15 years. Alluding to, of course, a long and successful career overseas, so we do wish him all the very best.
And I'm sure that's one of the best parts of being a coach, Phil, is seeing young players go to that next level.
Certainly is, Ben, just playing that small part in the development of their career.
Stewart taking on Belcardi and beating him and cutting it back across. So some dangerous signs here from Mount Druitt. Kamada. And here is Stewart. Major spill for Kuri. And then cleared away by Kanazumi.
Yeah, Belcardi really has his work cut out for him tonight with containing Jack Stewart. He looks like he's got great engines, great turn of pace, a really positive attitude with and without the ball.
Well, that's going to be the test, isn't it? Because we know Belcardi, as we've seen in the opening 16 or so minutes, he loves to get forward, but he's going to have to be really careful of Stewart taking off and being able to get in behind. There's just a look at Macarola, who's off to Portugal after this match.
Yeah, we talked about Mount Druitt Town's system of play that they've adopted early with that 4-3-3. Luke Wilkshire.
Lockie Scott just giving it away. Kamada finding Smith. Has men in the middle, including De Silva. He opts for Stewart. And in sliding in, giving away the free kick. And pretty frustrated as well. Jason Perez, he's into the book.
Gee, I'd like to see that one again. I'm not sure on first glance it was worthy of a yellow card. Oh, maybe sliding in, but gee, what a wholehearted FFA Cup challenge that is in the middle of the park. And that's what you want from your players, particularly your midfield players, to really start to boss the midfield.
The 24-year-old midfielder, Jason Perez.
I was just talking before, Ben, before that last attack from Mount Druitt, that Luke Wilkshire's adopted a 4-1-4-1 formation with Brendan Griffin really holding that midfield. But it really gives his, it's going to be a really interesting tactical battle, a 4-3-3 against a 4-1-4-1. Already you can see both teams trying to play between the lines, find the pockets, get in behind each other. But they're not doing it with too many long balls, which is a great sign.
I think it might be beneficial for both sides to come into this one with a bit of a break from the NPL, and that might sound strange, but both finished the NPL season rather slowly. So now Jack Stewart into the assistant referee. There'll be a throw on the way for Mount Druitt. The Town Rangers, they won just 2 of their final 8 matches in the NPL before the season was cancelled after 17 matches, and just 1 win from their last 4 for Wollongong. So we see that challenge again. Stewart versus Belcardi. Those 2 are going to go at each other all night.
Yeah, it was a silly foul, really, because Wollongong were in good field position then.
Around the corner, Smith. De Silva. The flag's up. It's a nice strike on goal, wasn't it, from Rhett De Silva.
Yeah, it really was, Ben. You could see his intent with his first touch. He had nothing else in his mind but to get his first touch out of his feet onto his right foot and try and bend it into that back corner. Unfortunately, the linesman's flag, the assistant referee's flag, I should say, put paid to that.
That pass is going to give Kamada too much work to do. It's actually picked up from relative obscurity for Moto Kamada. He was playing in the Illawarra Premier League with the Tarrawanna Blueies. So you'd think playing in the Illawarra Premier League he might have been picked up by the Wolves, but no. Mount Druitt, very ambitious club, and it's been outstanding to see their rise up the levels in the recent past. Here's Orchard under some pressure, former Manly United player who actually played for Manly United a couple of years ago when they came here to Popondetta Park and won that FFA Cup tie. He's now the captain for Mount Druitt. Gordovic found McDonald, who was fouled. There's the Wollongong boss, Luke Wilkshire. 80 caps for the Socceroos. And this is his 3rd season as head coach, and it's a pretty impressive record. They were premiers in 2019, went down in the preliminary final, and then were the NPL Australia champions, beating Lions 4-3 in that grand final after extra time. And then last year they finished 2nd, beaten on goal difference, and went down in the semis. And then this year they were 7th when the pandemic stopped the competition. Mount Druitt just above them on 6th, I should say in 6th place. And it probably shows out there tonight, Phil. They're very closely matched sides.
Yeah, that's right. No quarter asked, no quarter given, and nor would you expect it in a cup game.
Stewart slipping it. Neat little 1-2 play with Mitch Smith. Can Wollongong move it quickly? This is a good forward run from Simonoski. Has Beattie on his right. He's waiting for him to approach. He's going to go himself, Simonoski. It's a corner for Wollongong.
That is wonderful recovery from Kamada there, just to take the ball off Simonovsky at the last minute, just as he was about to pull the trigger. He really had to show some good engines to get back then, because Mount Druitt Town were up the other end of the pitch. In the blink of an eye, he's having to defend just outside his own 6-yard box. You can see things just starting to open up, Ben, and that's what will happen in a game like this. The adrenaline certainly gets them off to a flying start, but as the game wears on, the spaces will definitely open.
McDonald's corner, unable to be bundled in at the back post. There's the big centre half, Jordovic. Apologises to his team. He knows he was free. He feels he should have done better.
Yeah, certainly a worrying sign there for Stuart Montgomery. You don't want a big defender being able to get a volley below knee height away on goal. It means the defending is not tight enough at a set piece.
Symes just launching. Well brought down by Smith so well. He was able to earn the free kick.
Used his body very, very well then. That's a hard ball to bring under control, particularly under close inspection by Kanazami. Used his body well to get the ball under control and draw the foul.
Former Northbridge Bulls man Mitch Smith joined Mount Druitt this season. As I said, a couple of goals in the NPL in New South Wales before it was finished a little earlier than they would have liked, as Kamada, and it's crossed the byline. Well, it was neat, wasn't it? Little chip and chase.
Little circus trick. Unfortunately amounts to nothing. The ball was already over the byline. But you can certainly see that Mount Druitt Town can cause problems in that top third. They're lively, they're creative. They've got a good attitude, good positive attitude with the ball.
Scott just has the ball pinched off him, but they'll get another chance. McDonald finds Beattie. Good 1-2 play with McDonald. Early strike is straight to Symes. Good piece of skill this from Leroy Jennings. So they try to link up down the left. Ricochet almost favoured Beattie. And Mitch Smith earns the whistle. Now Kanaizumi could be in a bit of trouble here. Just going to have a conversation with Craig Fisher, who's saying too many fouls. And I don't even know if Craig Fisher was ready for the set piece. Anyway, play goes on. They took it, gave it away.
Can't help but think in that last attack from Wollongong that Leroy Jennings just looked for one pass too many. Thought with his return ball he could have unleashed on goal.
Simonovsky was giving chase and just lost sight of it after the clearance. He has been a little quiet, Leroy Jennings. One of his first major involvements. Duros gives it away in a very dangerous area. Mitch Smith is charging, and Mitch Smith should have scored for Mount Druitt.
Well, that was harder to miss than it was to score. He will rue that opportunity, Mitch Smith. But the question has to be asked, what on earth was Hayden Duros trying to do? As we see Mitch Smith just drag that wide. You thought he was absolutely odds on to score that, tuck it away.
Well, you could say it was a comedic bit of play all round. You had the keeper out of the box giving away the chance, and then Smith with pretty much an open goal. I know Duros was getting back there, but the bottom left corner was wide open. and he should have finished and missed.
Yeah, two teams who, as you said before, Ben, have been reasonably evenly matched. Those chances don't come along too often. Let's hope for Mitchell Smith's purposes and all the Mount Druitt Town fans that that's not the one that decides the game.
Long throw, picks out Lockie Scott. This is up in the air. Will drop for Beattie. He's going to have to swivel. It's a tough angle. Belcardi gives it away. Now Mount Druitt with the speed here of Kamada up against Belcardi. Well defended by the Wollongong man just to break it down on halfway. Macarola. And now Curry. Shin pad went flying. It was the shin pad of Lewis Curry. It's Kamada. Dispossessed by Belcardi. Striding into space, and crucial intervention there from Jason Perez in midfield. And now Macarola finds Jennings. Gets a little bit scrappy for a period. Both sides just unable to get their foot on the ball. So we've just ticked over to the half-hour mark here at Popondetta Park, the round of 32 in the FFA Cup, back in New South Wales for the first time in a couple of years. And two very even sides. Wollongong Wolves travelling to take on Mount Druitt Town Rangers. And both have had some great chances to score. Mount Druitt with the best of them. Mitch Smith putting it wide from close range with virtually an open goal. So that's where we sit at the moment. Ben Homer with you in commentary alongside Phil Moss. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching on 10 Play. Stewart's ball intercepted by Belcardi. Did cross the line.
Yeah, shame Jack Stewart just left his pass a little bit short there. But as you said, Ben, a real arm wrestle. Both teams have had decent amounts of possession. It just seems to be that final pass in the final third at both ends that's letting both teams down.
So here is a promising situation for Mount Druitt. You've got the Brains Trust standing over it. Macarola, Orchard, Curry's also there, but it's going to be the youngster. It will be Cooper Koskari. Does he fire it on goal or look for a teammate? He goes for goal. Looked dangerous for a moment, but just swung away.
Didn't quite get the direction on it, but the technique was fantastic. From Cooper Koskari there, he could just see Hayden Girosa's near post just peeking at him, saying hello. He just couldn't get the direction on it. He certainly got the up and down on it though.
Yeah, just a little bit of breeze pushing across the ground, so helping him. He just bent too much to the left. Now Beattie looking infield. Lockie Scott Brought down in the box, no penalty given by Craig Fisher. Gee, it was similar scenes to the last meeting between these two sides here, where he did win a penalty on that occasion, Lockie Scott, but couldn't convert. And now Belcardi with the intervention for Wollongong. So a bit of to and fro action. Out comes the yellow card.
Gee, it's just sprung to life, hasn't it, the last 60 seconds, Ben? I'd like to see that challenge on Lockie Scott again, because I thought the referee had pointed to the spot.
Well, now McDonald goes into the book as well.
He's a challenge in midfield.
Yeah, Leroy Jennings it was initially into the book, and then McDonald has joined him in the aftermath.
Well, I've got to give it to Craig Fisher. At least he's consistent. He gave a yellow card for a similar challenge not so long ago in almost the exact same spot.
So hooked up by Koskari, good take from Duros.
That's very good keeping from Duros there. He really needed to take the pressure off his team. He came and really took that with confidence, commanding his area. Just what you want from your goalkeeper. I don't know how you saw that challenge on Lockie Scott, Ben, but I certainly saw the referee's arm come out with a finger pointed at a spot, but I heard no whistle.
Well, I thought for a moment he was going to blow the penalty, Craig Fisher, but waved it away. Out comes Symes. Yeah, and what happened in that round 14 match, Lockie Scott actually won a penalty here at Popondetta Park. He had it saved by their former goalkeeper, Carlos Saliadari. And then Mount Druitt went on to win the match 3-0. Carlos, dubbed the Great Wall of Carlos here at Mount Druitt. He's headed up to be with his family on the Gold Coast and also for work as well. So a huge loss for them, but Matt Symes in goals is a great addition for them. Spent some time with the Wanderers and also the Mariners in his younger days. Kamada with the clearance. Bounces in front of Smith. That's a great turn. That's why he is one of the best defenders in the NPL New South Wales. Banri Kanai Zumi.
Yeah, he showed great composure there, didn't he? Lukey Wilkshire with a massive rap on the impact that he's had inside the dressing room, on the pitch, and around the club. A real leader, always calm in possession, but as we just saw then, calm in the challenge as well.
Set piece well dealt with by Mount Druitt again. Macarola beating a couple, striding into some space, slipping it out wide. And getting across is Belcardi from all the way out here on the right.
What do you want? You got to tell me what to do. You've got to communicate. You can't communicate. What do you want of them?
Kamada scooping it to the back post. It's too deep for the run of De Silva.
Yeah, it's a real shame there. He showed some great pace to get around the back of Belcardi then, but just couldn't wrap his toe around the delivery. And again, just another example of that final pass, Ben, in the final third. A little bit more composure can make all the difference.
Heading it down the sideline, but has crossed the sideline according to the assistant referee. Inside the final 8 minutes until half time. They explore some of the space up front. Out comes Symes with the clearance.
That's excellent goalkeeping from Symes there. Sweeper keeper playing that role. He had to be alert because the weight of the pass was fantastic.
And again, problems here for Mount Druitt. And there's certainly feeling here. The yellow card is out. Peter Simonowski involved. Temper's just flaring for a moment. Craig Fisher is just going to have a conversation. Yeah, there it is, the push and shove. Simonowski involved.
I think it was Viker then whose first touch just let him down and became a touch and tackle situation. The studs looked as though they were slightly raised. Not suggesting that it was a red card, but I think Craig Fisher, our referee, dealt with it as he should have.
And there is a yellow card going the way of Viker. So final 5 minutes now until halftime. This was the incident, which turned into a flashpoint. Viker down, Jennings went over the top, and then across came Simonowski. So here we go, we're back underway again. In a sense, there's plenty more to play out. There's some spot fires all across the pitch. And Kamada off down the left. Finds Stewart. Returns the favour to Kamada. Men in the middle, but the cutback was too heavy. And pounced on by Belcardi.
Geez, a rapid player in full flight, isn't he, Kamada? That combination between him and Jack Stewart down this left-hand side for Mount Druitt is absolutely electrifying when they open the legs.
Up for the header was Beattie. And now this physical duel again between Scott and Viker. They know the danger that he possesses. Now Ismich. Little touch from Craig Fisher. Macarola. Good footwork down the right edge from Curry, and he bends it across. Some work to do there for Duros, and he did it pretty comfortably in the end.
Yeah, and a good early release too for Marcus Beattie too. That's exactly what you want your keeper to do, turn defence into attack.
Just touched around the corner by Simonowski. Good movement again. Griffin was there. And then Lockie Scott, that final pass. It's not finding him.
And good cover defence there by Outred as well. Coming from my old club, Manly United, he gave good service down there for quite a few seasons before he found himself here at Mount Druitt.
And they did well to attract him away from Manly, bring him to Mount Druitt. This is hung up to the back post towards Beattie. On the turn is Simonowski. Still going Peter Simonowski. Stabbed forward for Mitch Smith. So you just wonder what both coaches will be thinking in the lead up to half-time. Luke Wiltshire, the boss at Wollongong. Stuart Montgomery, the coach of Mount Druitt.
Yeah, I think, look, it won't be too much of a surprise to either of them that they'll be looking at their bench to think what can come off it in the second half once there's some tired legs to win it for either side. But I think both coaches will be reasonably happy. As I said, if it was me sitting in that dressing room at half-time, I'd be talking to that final pass in the top third. I think that's what's let both sides down. Notwithstanding, it is a tricky surface that they're playing on tonight.
Has he kept that in? No, to Silva. He's fleet-footed just like his older brother, Danny. Poor turnover by Wollongong right before half-time, just inviting some pressure. Crucial intervention, though, from Griffin, but given away once again. Curry hooking it in, making the run with Smith. Fortunately, the clearance is there for Ismich. He has Lockie Scott on the switch pass from left to right. Opts against it. Now dinked forward into some space for Simonowski. And now attempted pass wide to find Lockie Scott. Just evades him and probably sums up the first half. Now into stoppage time. We'll get a minute, so it's just been the story for both sides in the first half.
It has. Lockie Scott's touch letting him down there, but Leroy Jennings, that was a fantastic pass. Don't let the poor touch of Lockie Scott take away from the quality of that pass from Leroy Jennings. So great vision, great way to pass, and composure, which is probably the thing that's been lacking in the final third.
Now Jack Stewart just hung that ball out to the right. It was inviting, but well defended by Ismich, and now gets the free kick. So a couple of minutes of stoppage time. Is there a late goal for either side? Another high boot. Is there another card? Yes, there will be. So the cards really mounting in this first half. Brendan Griffin, the latest.
Yeah, I don't think you can have any complaints about that one. Brendan Griffin had no real choice because he was in full flight to try and win the ball. But certainly got Jason Perez around chest height. It's always going to be a high foot. He's been good, Brendan Griffin, in the first half for Wollongong Wolves. He's really controlled the midfield for them. Dropped deep. Been a good link between the defence and higher up in midfield as they're playing out from the back, Wollongong.
You just see Stuart Montgomery there, top right corner of screen, the coach for Mount Druitt. Just having a chat to the referee, Craig Fisher. Obviously not happy about the treatment dished out to his team. And if there is a further delay, referee Fisher may just call a halt to proceedings. Jason Perez back to his feet now. And off he goes. Smith, you could just see, had a great chance in this first half, probably the best. And he put it wide with basically an open goal.
The other big talking point, I think, was I don't think enough was made of that penalty shout for Lachlan Scott. At first glance, I thought he got a real nudge in the back.
Yeah, that's probably the big chances for either side in the first half. That penalty shout for Scott, where it looked like Craig Fisher would point to the spot and didn't. There could be a late chance here, though, for the Wolves as they bend away down the left. Lockie Scott, was he clipped? Here's a strike on goal and a good save. The follow-up is in for Wollongong right before half-time, and it's Peter Simonoski.
Well, you called it, Ben. Late drama here at Popondetta Park, and that is why good attacking players will always follow strikes in. Matthew Symes really struggled to deal with that. The initial strike fell just in front of him, as we can see here on the replay. It was a good strike. Couldn't palm it away from the danger area. And that is what good attacking players do. They follow it up. And an easy tap in the end for Peter Simonoski, who's been one of Wollongong Wolves' best players in this first half, Ben.
And I'm pretty sure he's earned himself a yellow card for the volley to the corner flag, which flew over the fence. So there's another yellow card. I've got Beattie, Griffin, Jennings, McDonald and Simonoski for Wollongong. Almost half the team in the first half. They'll have to be careful in the second 45. So the home side, they'll be dejected heading into the sheds. A goal conceded with basically the last kick of the first half. The Wollongong Wolves with a crucial strike. Peter Simonoski on the stroke of half-time, putting Wollongong ahead after Mitch Smith had a gilt-edged opportunity that he put wide. Half-time at Popondetta Park. Mount Druitt Town Rangers 0. Wollongong Wolves 1. And Phil Moss, the home side, they'll be so frustrated with that end to the first 45.
Yeah, that's right. There's no better time to score a goal, but there is no worse time to concede a goal. Certainly that will change the halftime team talk somewhat of Stuart Montgomery and Luke Wilkshire to a certain degree, but when that ball hit the back of the net from Peter Simonoski, I can tell you the Wollongong bench absolutely erupted with joy. It was a real pressure reliever for Luke Wilkshire and his squad, but gee, late drama there. But yeah, look, I mean, it was an arm wrestle, wasn't it, for the first half? As I kept saying, alluding to, it was the final pass in the top third that was letting both teams down. They both had their opportunities, but certainly Wollongong has made the biggest one of the game count.
Well, don't give away all your good stuff, Mossy, because we'll be back in just a few minutes with the halftime analysis and all the highlights from the first 45 from Popondetta Park. We'll be back very soon. Welcome back to Popondetta Park, round of 32 in the FFA Cup. It's back in New South Wales for the first time in a couple of years. Mount Druitt Town Rangers hosting Wollongong Wolves. Ben Homer and Phil Moss to take you through the first half highlights. And Phil, a pretty even first half. Wollongong leading it by a goal to nil, but there were some good opportunities for Wollongong's main man, Lockie Scott.
Yeah, there was, and there was a penalty shout on him too that I thought should have been made more of, but not to be. But as you said, both teams had their chances, as we see with Mitchell Smith missing an absolute sitter in front of goal. Some great work from Jack Stewart, taking the ball off Hayden Duros, who thought he was Hagita outside the box. And here we see Wollongong. And this is the penalty shout. Now, I think there is a penalty in that. There is a real claim. I thought I saw the referee's hand come out and point to the spot, but no whistle was blown. And here we see the goal right on the stroke of half-time with Simonovsky doing what all good attacking players do. They follow up shots on goal, and it was too hot to handle for Matthew Symes as Simonovsky put it in the back of the net to send the Wollongong bench into raptures.
Yeah, and that's where we sit at half-time. As you can see, very even across the board in terms of shots. Mount Druitt, that's been their issue, getting them on target. Mitch Smith puts his strike on target, and they would have been up 1-0, and it's probably a different game. How do they get themselves back into it? Is there much that Stuart Montgomery has to adjust?
Well, look, I mean, his whole reason for ditching last season's 5-3-2 and going to a 4-3-3 formation this season is to get more bodies forward in transition to attack, and I think that's been the case tonight. I think he has had good bodies in the box when Mount Druitt Town push forward. It's that final pass. It's showing that extra split second of composure when in front of goal to pick the pass or decide to shoot instead of pass. And I think that's something that he'll be addressing at half-time, no doubt. But he seems to have a real match winner on the bench in Ahmed Scheibau. So I think we'll look to see him in this second half. That's certainly something that Stuart Montgomery will be planning.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mossy. We'll be back very soon with the second half action. And this season, the A-Leagues is on Channel 10 and Paramount Plus. So it's time to get to know the broadcasting team. And you've seen Alex Brosk on the pitch. So here is what makes him tick off it.
I'm Alex Brosk, and I'm going to be part of the expert panel providing coverage on the Channel 10 and Paramount Plus network. The first club I played for, I started quite young. I was about 3.5, my mum tells me, and it was for a local South American team that my dad actually played for called Welcome Sports. I don't think they're around anymore, but that's where I started. Australian football is, look, it is everything to me. I've obviously grown up in this country and played all my football, you know, in this country, and what the game has given me and what I've been able to give in a small part back to the game has been everything, has been the biggest part of my life. So Australian football basically is everything to me. I think that there's a lot to look forward to with Australian football. Obviously, this new TV deal now, I think, gives the game a bit of direction and a bit of go forward. And I think just the support and backing that the game needed. So I'm excited about the future and what the next few years hold. The biggest hurdle, I think, for the Socceroos will just be following on from the past, year and a bit. It's the challenges that come with not knowing where they're playing. It's Arnie's difficulty in getting the squad together, whether it's local or international.
Well, it's the home team with some work to do in the second half at Popondetta Park. Mount Druitt Town Rangers hosting Wollongong Wolves. Great to have you back on 10 play for this round of 32 clash in the FFA Cup, as one of these two sides looks to get to the final 16 in the competition for the very first time. And the difficulty for Mount Druitt was presented right on half time. Peter Simonovsky with a goal, basically with the last kick of the first half. And that gives them a mountain to climb in this second half. But they've got goals in them. So can they find an equaliser in this second half? Mount Druitt in front of their home fans. That's the question they'll be looking to answer, Phil Moss.
They certainly will, and no doubt it is something that Stuart Montgomery addressed at half-time. As we said in our half-time wrap, Ben, there is no better time to score, there is no worse time to concede, right on the stroke of half-time. So you've got to get the players back up, because no doubt Mount Druitt would have walked in with the tail between the legs a little bit. So they'll be looking for a bright start to this second half.
And that concern for Wollongong is here's an early chance for them, and it's just pushed wide. What an opportunity that was. It fell to McDonald.
That's an excellent passage of play from Wollongong. Great chance for McDonald. Just couldn't wrap his foot around it. You can see he puts his laces through it. Probably needed to use the instep a little bit more there, but the ball was falling. Difficult opportunity for him. But a fantastic passage of play from Wollongong.
He actually has won a penalty in the FFA Cup, Josh McDonald, back when he was playing for Western Sydney Wanderers in 2015. Playing Brisbane in an all A-League men's encounter that was in the FFA Cup. And here he is, linking up with Beattie. Lachlan Scott just sitting at the top of the D. Decent link up. And now the strike. It is 2-0 to Wollongong. And it's Belcardi, the right fullback, getting forward and punishing the Town Rangers.
Well, what a statement to make from Wollongong. They've come out breathing fire in the second half, and you can see the lift that that goal gave them with that last kick of the first half. Ben, and Belcardi, what a finish that is. That is absolutely fantastic. Some quick feet shown. You can see here some great link-up play there. Beautiful little pass into the space for Belcardi. Took one touch, took two touches, and then he unleashed. Fantastic finish.
And that's why Nick Montgomery, the Mariners head coach, thinks so highly of him. The young man who came through the Mariners setup. And now he could have sunk the dagger into Mount Druitt's hopes of qualifying for the round of 16. And just before that goal was scored, might come back to that thought, because all of a sudden it's Mount Druitt with a chance, and it will be a corner. I was going to say Wollongong would like to grab a second, because you feel if Mount Druitt grab one, they've got the home fans on their backs pushing them through, and it might be difficult to hold them out. So they've got the 2-goal buffer. Of course, it is a dangerous lead, but it's better than a 1-goal buffer. That's a high and deep corner, and comes to naught, except a free kick for the Wolves.
Yeah, Travis Outred a little bit too eager to get to the ball then. Using his body illegally. But you're so right. You know, you come to a ground like this, you need to take the crowd out of the equation as quickly as you can. Wollongong have done that about a minute either side of half-time.
Simonovsky was the man who scored right on the stroke of half-time. Such a great time to score, but an awful time to concede. It's one of those moments I'm sure you look back on as a coach, but also a player, and go, we had 20 seconds to defend. 20 seconds, that was it.
Well, it's one of those moments where you've really got to check yourself and stay in the moment as a coach, because you've got your halftime talk pretty much planned out at that stage, step by step, and then all of a sudden everything changes, and it becomes more of a motivating conversation to start with, to pick them back up before you can even think about talking tactically. But you've got to tip your hat to Bilal Belcardi. He had a tough first half, trying to contain Jack Stewart, and then he's popped up with a fantastic goal.
So McDonald, late run at the back post was being made and cleared away by the keeper. A good take and goals by Matt Symes. And they find some kind of opening here through their leading goal scorer, Jack Stewart. He goes all the way. And Druitt with a great touch at the near post to push it up and over.
Fantastic save there. Hard to see from this angle if the strike was on target. We'll see in the replay here. But I love the way Jack Stewart drives at players. Hard to see from this angle whether it was on target, but a good save nonetheless.
That is a better delivery. Druitt with the punch away. And the degree of difficulty of that strike is going to make it a real challenge to get it on target.
And they're the moments, aren't they? Kamada there, like there was no chance on this earth he was going to be able to get that strike on target. He just needed that little bit of composure. Now Druitt had Wollongong under pressure from the set piece. They needed another good delivery into the box to ask some real questions.
Bit of pressure being applied there by Rhett De Silva. Unfortunately for him and the Town Rangers, it's just going to result in a goal kick, but that's the kind of intensity he would like to inspire his side.
Well, Ben, you would do wonder how long Stuart Montgomery will resist the temptation.
Well, he may be more tempted very, very soon, because it may be 3-0, and Lockie Scott was very close to making it 3-0. It's the common scoreline between these two sides in 2021.
And of course, that temptation I talk of is bringing Ahmed Shaibu off the bench. From what we hear, he isn't a potential match winner. Well, Mount Druitt Town need him off the bench to get them back into this game before they can think about winning it. Wollongong really starting to find some spaces in midfield now to pick their passes, causing Mount Druitt Town all sorts of problems.
I'm just happy to take a little bit more time off the clock, just strolling over McDonald. Bends this one across. Pinball in the box. Good reflex save initially from Symes. And he has the ball in his arms. And that is the only thing the home fans care about. And that's a good header into the path of De Silva, who is in on goal. Rhett De Silva cuts it across the face. And the chance goes begging. This was the save from Symes. Oh, what a save it was.
That is a fantastic save.
It was Kanazumi with the strike from point-blank range.
Symes had to get down, and there is the fine line of football, Ben. Very similar save to the first half.
So what are you thinking here? He's trying to find a teammate, isn't he?
That's a shot for me.
Just a
That's a poor
one.
shot, yep. I think he's got nothing but eyes for the back of the net there and just doesn't get hold of it the way he wanted to.
But he could claim he was trying to cut it across.
I'm sure he probably will. We know better.
Macarola. Can he give the Town Rangers a departing gift? He was close. Heading to Portugal very soon. Almost sent that ball heading into the back of the net. It's a corner.
He shapes to shoot there. You can see him come inside onto his left foot and probably missing the target, but a smart save nonetheless. Down to his left from Druitt.
So the corner's building up for Mount Druitt, but nothing coming from them.
Well, a good sign for Stuart Montgomery is they're not going away. So they're not hiding. They're not going into their shell. They're prepared to have a go at Wollongong. But where it matters most on the scoreboard, they're not making a dent yet.
So still no changes for Mount Druitt, despite being 2 goals down. Remembering they've got Tarek Elrich on the bench as well. Could he wind back the years? So you remember that goal he scored for Adelaide United, where he beat just about everyone.
Yeah, he had a fantastic A-League career. Fantastic guy. He's Tarek. Very, very popular amongst teammates and opposition players when they're off the pitch.
Macarola hanging it towards the back post and just beyond the outstretched leg of Mitch Smith. You look back on that moment, 28th minute, Mitch Smith put his strike wide. It was 0-0 at that point. It was basically an open goal. It would have been 1-0 Mount Druitt. How the football match could be a whole lot different. He's run into a shoulder and elbow. It was certainly an accident, but that doesn't mean it's any less painful for Orchard, who's straight back to his feet. He was riling on the ground, and now he's back because he knows they can't take any time out of this game, Mount Druitt. They have to use every second.
Yeah, certainly nothing malicious in that challenge. I dare say Travis has probably given a few of them out in his time. Purely accidental.
Striding forward. What a run this is. Continuing the momentum and just pushing the strike wide. That was speedy stuff from Leroy Jennings.
What a surging run that was. That had intent written all over it. Just couldn't find the finish with his final touch, but what a fantastic run that was. You can see here he looks up, doesn't see many options on, but he does see a space. He just drives into it. I'd like to have seen him go across the goalkeeper there. At the very least, maybe Matthew Symes parries it into the path of a teammate.
So Mount Druitt now are making a couple of changes. And Tarek Elrich is coming on. He's going to replace Rhett De Silva. And Lukman Ahmed Shaibu, the man you've been talking about, Mossy. He's been signed to the Mount Druitt Town Rangers from the Monero Panthers. He was starring down in the ACT. Played 4 matches this season, of course a COVID interrupted season, and scored the 1 goal, but looked for his speed up front. And he turned the match in their favour. Curry. Slipping across to Stewart. Still going Jack. Stewart deflects into the path of the on-rushing Town Ranger, and he should have scored. Back for Stewart, bending it across to the back post, and with his first touch, Ahmed Shaibu could have scored. Maybe just needed a step ladder to get up to it.
Just not quite in the rhythm of the game, but gee, didn't he throw himself at that? But you can see here, Djordjevic, I think it is, with an unbelievable challenge. Desperation defence. That will bring a smile to the face of Luke Wilkshire when you see a defender stepping in like that, putting their body on the line. Last ditch defending.
So all the chances flowing here for the home team, and Ahmed Shaibu has put it over the bar from point blank range.
Well, that is remarkable.
How has he missed?
I know I'm supposed to comment on it, but I've got no words. That's perfect delivery. You can only suggest it may have copped a bobble just as he was about to strike it, but Mount Druitt Town have had the two easiest chances I've seen in football in a long, long time. Neither of them have been in the back of the net. You look at Mitchell Smith's chance in the first half, and now Shaibu in the second half. But gee, what an impact he's made already. He's only been on the park for 90 seconds.
So links up with Curry. And the dink over the top runs away from Jack Stewart.
Well, it's no wonder, and I know he's just missed a sitter, but it is no wonder Stuart Montgomery is excited about Ahmed Shaibu. You can see his intent. You can see his intensity. Could have had 2 goals in his first 90 seconds.
Up goes Orchard. Into the header. Ahmed Shaibu came through on McDonald. Bounces back to his feet though. Now Kamada. Elrich. Stewart. And Viker. He's curling the pass, but Duros read it. And he's in a bit of trouble here, the Wolves keeper, Hayden Duros. Is it a groin issue? That's where he's pointing to. Well, this would be intriguing if he was forced off. They've got Thomas Butkovich on the bench, the Wolves junior. It's just, was it just there? Did you just see him just step awkwardly and then put the hand up?
Didn't see him pull up suddenly, unless it was from the last time. Often that that type of injury is caused by a goal kick. The keeper releasing the ball with a volley or a half volley. But it's certainly going to give his teammates a chance just to recalibrate. Mount Druitt Town have absolutely had them under some pressure in the last sort of 5 minutes, and it's all down to that man Ahmed Shaibu since he's come on the pitch, and Tarek Elrich.
So the Wolves, in the meantime, are making some changes as well. It looks like Nick Littler, who is out there for the Wolves, who actually works as a nurse at St George Hospital. So he's been helping Sydney out during the pandemic, and he'll be looking to steer the Wolves into the last 16 of the Cup as well from the back line. Actually turned 30 yesterday, so a bit of a late birthday present he'll be hoping for.
There's a fair bit of size about Nick Littler. Littler by name, but not by nature, dare I say.
So Hayden Duros has been strapped up, and he looks like he's good to go. The backup, as I said, Thomas Butkovich, he's young keeper, as I said, Wolves junior, and he played for the under-20s side this year for Wollongong. They finished in 3rd place in that particular competition. So almost into the final 25 minutes. Mount Druitt desperate for a goal. And gee, they've had some chances to find it. Can Wollongong go close to killing it off? Not on this occasion. Stewart has the run of Macarola to the right. Ahmed Shaibu getting involved, and he has the strike and never looked likely. The hit from range from Jack Stewart.
Yeah, you certainly can't knock his intent. There's probably better options there. He was just off balance as he tried to strike it with his left foot, but you can't certainly criticise his intent, trying to get his team back in the game. He certainly didn't look sore as he struck that ball, Herben Duros. So let's hope he's okay for the sake of his teammates.
So Beattie bending it. And that ball finding no one in the Wolves jersey. Peter Simonowski, who scored the goal right before half-time.
I was going to say his execution then with the delivery into the box wasn't what it needed to be, but his execution of that goal right on the stroke of half-time. It was a simple tap-in, but it was the way he read the play. It was so impressive and put him in the right place at the right time.
Well, it was a good touch from Ahmed Shaibu and it allowed Kamada some space down the left, but the flag is up again. More frustration for Mount Druitt. Here was that first half goal for Peter Simonowski. We're talking about probably the most crucial moment of this match, right on the stroke of half-time, the last kick before the break, effectively. It would have been 0-0. Instead, 1-0 to the Wolves, and then after half-time, Belcardi made it 2-0, and that's where we stand at the moment. But Mitch Smith and Ahmed Kaibu, he missed a gilt-edged chance just moments ago to make it 2-1, and if they grab one, you just know, Mossy, that the crowd will be right behind them and they'll go close to getting back level.
Dare I say it, 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football.
There's the measured pass from Kanazumi. It's just going to be a goal kick. And basically, if you're Stuart Montgomery, your route to goal, Mossy, is through Ahmed Shaibu. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's the one that's looking most likely, but you've got to get the right service into him. He looks like someone who's really prepared to attack the goal.
Well, they're just taking some time out of the clock now, Wollongong. Moments ago with the goalkeeper, Duros, and now with Ismich.
I think it's probably pertinent too to call out that Mount Druitt Town are missing a couple of key players tonight. Obviously, Tarek Elrich couldn't start the game, wasn't fit enough to start the game. Mark Warren is another one. I saw him before the game and he's out with some health issues and getting some tests done actually, so we wish Mark Warren all the very best. I worked with Mark up at the Central Coast Mariners some 10 or 11 years ago.
Yeah, and those two fill a bulk of the Mount Druitt Town Rangers A-League experience. The other man with that experience, just a one game for Lewis Curry. So that is a lot of experience out of the side with, as you said, Mark Warren, Tarek Elrich out there now, but unable to start tonight. And Curry getting involved there. Now Tarek Elrich. Turned over. And Lockie Scott makes it 3-0 for the Wollongong Wolves. And they could be on their way to the final 16 in the FFA Cup for the first time in their history. And it's their leading goal scorer who may have put the nail in the coffin of Mount Druitt.
Yeah, an expert finish there from Lockie Scott, but you can put that opportunity down to Leroy Jennings. That is fantastic hold-up play on the edge of the box. He just waited for exactly the right time to roll Lachlan Scott in and give him the space to unleash with his left foot to put this contest beyond all shadow of a doubt. Even though there are 20 minutes remaining, Ben, you can't see Mount Druitt getting back into the contest from here.
And how often do we see it? A chance at the other end for Mount Druitt moments ago that should have been finished. And at the other end, Wollongong take their chances, and that's simply the difference tonight. Simple as that. Wollongong have taken their chances and Mount Druitt have not taken theirs.
Yep, and we go back to, again, Mitchell Smith's chance in that first half, and I said at the time, you hope that that's not the chance that comes back to Roo, that Mount Druitt come back to Roo, but you can't help but pinpoint that moment. I mean, the amount of energy that would have given Mount Druitt to take the lead at that point in the game, get the crowd behind them, would have been immeasurable. Wasn't to be, and then of course we know the rest of the story, but yeah, Wollongong in front of goal have really taken their chances, and Lachlan Scott, fantastic finish with his left foot there, but again, that's the composure from Leroy Jennings that I was talking about in the first half that was missing. Holding it up, waiting for the runner to come off his shoulder, and then the weight of the pass, all Lockie Scott had to do was find the target.
So Mount Druitt, that mountain to climb, gets even higher now. It would be a miraculous FFA Cup comeback if they were to pull this off. Here's a free kick. What are you doing in that situation, Mossy, if you're down 3-0 in a cup clash, 20 minutes to go? Well, maybe. There's a chance here for Ahmed Shaibu to pull one back. Corner on the way. Yes, it is.
Well, I think for a start, if the side played with a back three last season, they know what they're doing. There hasn't been too much personnel change, so Stuart Montgomery might look to push an extra man forward. You'll see the corner come in and dealt with expertly by Hayden Duros. Good fist away.
Now the new man on the pitch, Evan Ball, wins a free kick, the 18-year-old. He actually has spent some time in Portugal as well, where Jared Macarola, who's out there for Mount Druitt, is heading off to. How about that for a turn? Lockie Scott, the fans enjoyed that.
Fair to say his confidence is sky high now.
Fantastic to see for a young man whose side wins a free kick here. And Lockie Scott, you feel like a victim of the lack of opportunities in the A-League at the time that he was coming through the ranks. Did score the one goal for Western Sydney Wanderers, but it's just difficult when you've got 10 A-League sides at that point.
Yeah, that's right, and he was at a big A-League side as well. Western Sydney Wanderers, you know, had he been at a Central Coast Mariners or potentially Newcastle Jets, who are renowned for giving younger players more of an opportunity with less pressure on for trophies. But you do feel that he's in safe hands with Luke Wilkshire, a man who knows what it takes to get to the top level. So hopefully this is some signs of a renaissance for Lachlan Scott back to the A-League.
Simonowski just winning that free kick. Tarek Elrich giving it away. So we tick towards the final quarter hour. And they really enjoy this last 15. Wollongong, now Lockie Scott. Just having a pop from outside the box. Wollongong Wolves fans making plenty of noise, and here's that feeling that's been evident throughout the night. Leroy Jennings with a bit of push and shove with Andre Cavallaro. So just as it was in round 3 between these two in the NPL New South Wales. 3-0 at the moment. Lockie Scott again on the score sheet for Wollongong. Mount Druitt with that win here in round 14. 3-0, but it hasn't gone that way tonight. Here's a goal kick on the way. It's fascinating, isn't it? That round 14 match between these two sides. Lockie Scott had the penalty saved. Mount Druitt go on and win 3-0. You know, you look at tonight, you say Mitch Smith's miss was virtually a penalty-like opportunity. He misses it, and look what happens. So that's a big impact, those gilt-edge misses.
Yeah, it certainly does, and for such an unpredictable game at times, it can be such a predictable game. Never ceases to amaze.
What happens in all sports, and it's fascinating. Like, sometimes I wish you could go back like a choose your own adventure book, see what happens if that situation panned out differently and how then the match would end. Had Mitch Smith put that chance away. In the end, he doesn't, so it's all a mystery.
If you had the power to do that, Ben, you'd be a very, very rich man.
Up there with Jeff Bezos and Elon. Here's Kamada. I'm sure those two would want to research into that, Mossy.
No doubt. They've probably got the resources to do it as well.
There's Ahmed Shaibu. Here's Viker. Just shutting them down. Wollongong at the moment. Makarola. Again, clearance away. Elrich trying to knock it back into the mix. And now they may be open here at the back. 3-on-2 potentially, if they're good enough. The Wolves slipped out wide. Simonoski bends it wide. Chance at a second for Peter Simonoski.
The pass that set that attack up probably went unnoticed, but Bunry Kanazumi, his release from the back was absolutely outstanding. Calm as you like, and that created this opening here, and Simonoski just couldn't get his boot round it enough to find the bottom far corner. But certainly Mount Druitt Town there really struggling to stay with Wollongong Wolves at this stage physically. You just wonder if that hit out last week for Wollongong against Sydney FC, the A-League powerhouse, has just given them that edge physically in this encounter, because that would have been a very competitive game. Notwithstanding the fact Mount Druitt Town had a couple of friendlies themselves against other NPL teams.
So Simonoski off for Demoski. Simonoski, what a performance from him tonight. That goal before half-time for the new signing from Sutherland. And it'll be big for them next season. So Lockie Scott also off for the young midfielder, Harry Taranto, the 22-year-old. And Mount Druitt, can they grab a consolation goal? Not quite. Well, it might not be with 10 minutes to go. Just give them a glimmer of hope if they can make it 3-1. Not to be, though. Here he is again. Demoski's just come onto the park. Some silky skills.
Yeah, smart play there from Demoski. The attack broke down. The momentum of it went out of the attack, so he knew he had to take it to the corner and get something for his side. The corner is always better than a throw-in, so very intelligent there.
So the likes of Ball, Tomoski in the box, heading towards Tomoski on the volley. Probably wish he had his time over again. Kamada tumbles forward into the waiting arms of Duros.
Give credit to Luke Wiltshire as well, Ben, the way he's prepared his side for this encounter, despite all the logistical challenges of COVID and so forth. He really takes his coaching seriously, Lukey Wiltshire. I'm not surprised to see him doing so well either, having worked with him at Sydney FC in his final season as a player. You can see the way he thinks the game and sees the game. He's always headed into a coaching role. I dare say it won't be long before we see him potentially in a role in the A-League.
And I'm sure he'll be really excited to potentially meet an A-League side in the round of 16.
I dare say he's hoping Sydney FC get past Sydney Olympic, and that may be the game.
Wouldn't he love that, coming up against one of his former sides? Well, I'm sure he'd like to go as far as he possibly can, so maybe if he could jag an NPL team and then maybe get Sydney in the quarterfinals or something like that. Stewart going to trick his way through. It'll be a throw in. Of course, this year there's none of the seeding, so potentially if the draw pans out a certain way, you could have an NPL team make it all the way through to the FFA Cup final. There's an attempted volley, goes awry. I should rephrase that and say, well, of course, every year an NPL team could make the final, but it was difficult because they would come up against A-League opposition. Whereas this year it's totally open draw, which means it could pan out that way.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see how the FFA Cup has evolved over the years. It really is a wonderful competition. It's that link, you know, from the eras, and it's such a crucial competition in the ecosystem of Australian football, not just for the clubs and the players that play in it, for the communities around the clubs as well. The type of opponents it brings to local grounds like tonight.
And you just wonder when we will see the day that an NPL side could make it all the way through to the FFA Cup final. Not that it will be called the FFA Cup for much longer, but a knockout competition. It'll be a special day. Given away to Leroy Jennings. Duarte out there as well for Wollongong, the number 3, the nephew of Alex Brosk, who's in the crowd tonight. I'm sure excited to see his nephew, 17-year-old out there, who's regarded as very talented, a really bright prospect for the Wolves. As we see a change on the way for Mount Druitt. Macarola leaving the park. And a bit of a sad moment for him because that'll be his final match in Town Rangers colours for a while. He's off to play in Portugal. So good luck to young Jared Macarola, the 17-year-old, who's finishing his HSC, isn't he? That'll be all done and dusted in the next few weeks, and then he's off.
A small matter of his HSC exams first, and then life as a professional footballer all going well. Yeah, it was great to see Broski at half-time. He popped over to say a quick hello, and I know he's really looking forward to that Socceroos game on Thursday night, Saudi Arabia, as we all are.
Big 3 points on offer there.
It's a massive game. Massive game. Socceroos back on home turf after what seems like forever. I know Graham Arnold, catching up with him during the week, he's very excited, and the players just can't wait to get into camp in Parramatta. All the signs are good for a sellout as well. I think 15 to 20,000 seats, tickets already sold.
Yeah, it'll be a wall of noise at Western Sydney Stadium, Combank Stadium as it's now known, as Mount Druitt try and give their home fans something to cheer about. Not quite the drama of the match here last FFA Cup in 2019. Now ball over the top, looking for Duarte.
As disappointing as this result will be for Stuart Montgomery and the Mount Druitt Town Rangers players and supporters and officials, they've certainly had their chances to get something out of the game tonight. They just haven't taken them. That's a good sign ahead of the upcoming season. Plenty for Stuart Montgomery to work with. But the deeper Wollongong go into this competition, the greater the advantage going into the NPL season. You can get competitive games. That really gives you an advantage over your opponents.
Yeah, finally they got the chance to reap the rewards tonight of that NPL Australia Championship back in 2019, so they didn't have to go through the FFA Cup qualifiers. And they have played like the NPL champions tonight. Clinical in front of goal. And probably a disappointing season in the NPL New South Wales. 7th when the season wrapped up after a couple of seasons. Right up there in Luke Wilkshire's first couple of years in charge. So I'm sure they wanted to make amends. And here's the strike. Oh. Spotting Symes off his line did Demoski. And he almost pulled off an absolute ripper of a goal to send the away fans back on the bus.
Stefan Demoski, what a first touch to get around his defender, and then the vision and the audacity to try and lob one over a keeper of that size was absolutely fantastic.
I'd be talking about that on the ride back to Wollongong, I'm sure. Still some time though for another one for the Wolves.
Well, this competition, Ben, certainly gives players the opportunity to stand out on the stage. Stefan Demoski nearly put his name in the brightest of lights you could imagine.
Well, Duros not too happy there with the contact from Ahmed Shaibu, but I think they've made up now. I think Ahmed Shaibu just said, you know, mate, you're up 3-0.
Yeah.
No need to fight. It's all good. And now Evan Ball goes down. Craig Fisher basically saying, do you need someone? I'm not. He is limping a little bit, but
yeah, you can see the studs did just catch him on the ankle there. Can be quite painful. But I'm sure with the way Luke Wilkshire used to play and would coach, you'd be saying, suck it up, son, get back on your feet.
If you're up by a goal, I can understand it at this point. You're wanting to take time out of a knockout match. But it's 3-0, 90th minute. He's got on with it in the end. There he is, ball. So we should be finding out how much additional time there is from the assistant. Should say the fourth official. Duarte.
Without running the rule over the other NPL clubs yet, Ben, you would have to say Wollongong have got fantastic balance. They've got pace, they've got experience, they've got creativity.
Good at both ends of the pitch, aren't they? So they'll have some defensive work to do. Here's Lukeman, Ahmed Shaibu cutting it across. And just with that centre-back combination, especially with Barnary Kanazumi, one of the best defenders in the NPL New South Wales. What a rock he is at the back, but also his passing game is superb. We've seen that on show tonight.
Yeah, no, he's a reading of the play, the calmness he brings to the back line for Wollongong, with and without possession. You know, you need a good talker there, and you can see the way he organises. But the way he plays out from the back as well has been very, very impressive. And Giro's in goal. He's a massive presence. Big frame, commands his area. Probably one blemish tonight when he tried the Hagita. Tried to go on a little bit of a mazy run outside the box, which created that incredible chance for Mitchell Smith that went wide. But other than that, he's been flawless.
So a few minutes of additional time remaining. I'm sure those guys will be making a lot of noise on the way back. The Wolf Den.
The scoreline's allowed Luke Wilkshire to push Kanazumi into midfield at times as well, with Nick Littler coming off the bench. So he's a versatile player as well.
Another free kick going the way of the Wolves. I should say Mount Druitt. Ahmed Shaibu just collapsing there under the weight of the pressure from Wollongong. Here's a late yellow card. Showing the way of Orchard.
I think that was more for kicking the ball. No, it wasn't. It was for the challenge.
So the last throws of this one at Popondetta Park. Not a happy night, unfortunately, for the home fans who have come out tonight. They've run into a team who you sense could go deep in this competition if they're given a draw that allows them to do so.
I know the scoreline's blown out a little bit in the end, Ben, but it certainly had all the hallmarks of a cup game, a cup tie. Certainly in that first half, no quarter asked, no quarter given. Some tackles flying in, as you would expect. But Wollongong really weathering the storm and taking their chances to come away with a commanding win in the end.
Yeah, since that third goal, it's been really difficult for Mount Druitt, and they may get a chance to take another one with them on the road. as Leroy Jennings was fouled. He's been quality tonight for the Wolves.
Yeah, everything he's done, Leroy Jennings. I know he set that third goal up for Lockie Scott on the edge of the area, but everything else he's done as well has been quality. Very creative player, always asking questions of the opposition defence as he stands over this free kick now.
So can he send the fans home with a special memory? That one just wasn't coming down. And the Wollongong Wolves reach the round of 16 in the FFA Cup for the first time in their history. A proud moment for the club. And it was that goal right on the stroke of half-time from Peter Simonowski, which was so crucial in this clash, with basically the last kick of the game. And then Belcardi and Scott finished off the deal in the second half. Full time at Popondetta Park. Mount Druitt Town Rangers 0, Wollongong Wolves 3. And Phil Moss, effectively it came down to who was more clinical, as it usually does, and the answer to that is the side who's going through.
Goals win games in football, and as you just quite rightly said, Ben, Wollongong took their chances. Mount Druitt Town had their chances and they didn't. 2 gilt-edged chances that should have been in the back of the net. No questions asked.
Well, look at that. That tells the story, doesn't it? Wolves with 9 shots on target and Mount Druitt with exactly the same amount of shots, 4.
Yeah, there it is. And that's that composure we spoke about. In the first half, it was probably more about the final pass, but in the final wash-up, it's about that composure in front of goal. But certainly, Ahmed Shaibu made a massive difference, and he'll be a player to